Okay, yes. Right. Get that now, shot. Does that connect through Sarnowski Park? Is that
I'll be dead and retired by that hour.
Good morning again, everyone. My name is Bob Savakanos. I am the chairperson of the Lackawanna Heritage Valley Authority, and I'd just like to welcome everyone here to Archibald for our next trail opening. And with that being said, to keep our program started and get moving, I'd like to introduce our Executive Director, Natalie Gelb.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I'm going to try to be brief. I have so many things I'd love to say about this wonderful event, but what I really want to do today is welcome you and recognize the amazing staff that I have, and everything you see is because of them. Linda Majensky, who is our Director of Operations, and please let yourself be seen when I say your name. Linda's way back in the back hiding. Stephanie Molesky, the Trail Manager and Environmental Program Officer, and Stephanie is, anybody who's working on this trail knows Stephanie because she's just done an amazing job for us. Owen Worsbit, who is our Director of Community Engagement, and he's the one who's mobilized all the volunteers and put all these fabulous programs, cleanups and the bike tour and all of these terrific things that are happening to help build this trail together. Not with us today, unfortunately, are April Regato. She's my assistant and tries to keep me on the straight and narrow. She's had recent surgery, so she's out. Leo Danilak, who's our Chief Financial Officer, and Beverly Liuzzo, who's our Assistant Financial Officer. I don't know if Beverly's here yet. She was coming, but I don't see her. But I just want to say one quick thing about this site. This section has been so popular. It's one of the first sections of trail that has been built. You can actually get from here to Oliphant on this trail. This is the route of our bike tour, and going north, before you leave, please drive up to Gilmartin Street and see the real new section of trail, the 2 miles that connect the bridge at Gilmartin Street to Delaware Street and Jermyn. But what I like to say about this section is it really represents so much of what we do at the Lackawanna Heritage Valley, because there's a lot of history here. You notice those buildings, that's from the original colliery that was here, and this was a unique spot. It's very important because this is where the owners and the workers lived, and this site connects the past, the present, and the future. You see the past, the present is this trail, as well as an active rail line here that represents so much of our industry. And if you look up further, you'll see the cogen plant, which is sort of a futuristic kind of thing. And it's all about energy, and that's the history of who we are, and we are very proud of our history and our heritage. And I just thank you so much for all your help in completing this wonderful community asset. And enough.
Thank you so much to Natalie and our staff. Again, Natalie does a wonderful job in advocating for LHVA and keeping us out there in the community. Events like this happen because of community partnerships, because of organizations that LHVA has worked with through the years, the community, county government, state government, federal government, etc. These events happen, and they happen in our community. They bring people together. They bring the community out to be a part of what we have to offer, our wonderful natural resources that we have here in Lackawanna County. And I'm just very proud, as the chairperson of the Lackawanna Heritage Valley Board, to just welcome everyone to be a part of what we're doing here and building this trail that will connect so much of our county with, hopefully down the road New York and also down into Luzerne County as well. With that being said, I'd like to just briefly introduce our board members, or at least acknowledge them. Again, they serve on our board. They do a lot. They dedicate a lot of their time to work so that LHVA operates out in the community. Ray Angeli, Attorney Julia Munley, Tom Welby, Attorney Dominic Keating, Michael Hallen, and Mark Matalevich. So if you would, just give them a quick round of applause to thank them for their dedication. And I also see standing way in the back there a former board member of ours who is still involved in an advisory capacity, Lou Danzico. So thank you again to everyone. We also have our sister organization that is working with us and trying to further the mission of the Lackawanna Heritage Valley Authority, and that would be the Heritage Valley Partners. And again, thank you for them for working with us, and trying to develop these trails and help us to raise funds as well. So with that being said, I'd like to just get the program started. I think we have a native of the area between Luzerne and Lackawanna County who we could very proudly say has the title of the Department of Conservation Natural Resources Secretary, Ellen Ferretti. Ms. Ferretti.
Well, congratulations again. Having done this from the ground up for many years, I realize that grand openings like this are the icing on the cake. And actually, if you look at it a certain way, making the cake is actually very fun. Endless meetings, endless partnership, outreach, endless conversations. And Natalie, you are a true champ, and you have an excellent staff. I know you reach out to everybody, and partnerships are critical, but you really maximize the benefit there. So thank you again for inviting me this morning. As you know, when I'm in northeastern Pennsylvania, I'm home. I'm always happy to be here. Pennsylvania has thousands of miles of trails that provide tremendous amount of recreational and leisure opportunities. They are so important because they connect places, natural resources to community revitalization, and they connect people to the outdoors. We see all of these things embodied in Lackawanna River Heritage Trail that travels from the New York border south to the Susquehanna River in Pittston. It connects the environment to the economy by making the natural resources important to economic development and community revitalization. It helps create livable communities, not so dependent on motorized transportation. It provides new opportunities for recreation or people to connect with nature. It highlights a regional approach that builds and strengthens partnership and our combined capacity. In recent survey data, trails ranked as the #1 recreational interest among Pennsylvanians right now. DCNR is proud to have assisted with planning and supporting the Lackawanna River Heritage Trail. And I'd like to thank Lauren Posinger of our Bureau of Recreation and Conservation, who's here today. Lauren does tremendous work on the ground and here for many, many years. Great asset. It's also fitting that I'm out here today on the same day we are making our announcement of our 2013 Community Conservation Partnership Program grants. They should be announced any time now. However, I'm allowed to say that and in addition to the more than $1 million in investments we have previously made in this trail, our latest grant round includes an additional $773,000 to support the further work of the Lackawanna River Heritage Trail, as well as provide support for the Lackawanna Heritage Valley Authority. So on behalf of Governor Corbett, congratulations, many, many congratulations.
Yeah. That's hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
Not even on the press yet.
That's right. It sits somewhere in the ether, but yeah, it'll be hitting the news wires pretty soon. I'm also being told, in addition, and we have to verify this, there's quite a significant amount coming to Lackawanna County as well in other grants. So the county should make out quite well in this grant round. Good projects, very good projects. We know that what people want the most when it comes to outdoor recreation are opportunities close to home, in their neighborhood, at a local park or trail, or at a state park or forest a short distance away. This trail, a true collaboration between DCNR, PennDOT, DCED, Lackawanna County, and the Lackawanna Heritage Valley Authority, helps accomplish that for northeastern Pennsylvania residents. We thank our partners for their commitment to the quality of life in the region and for working diligently on creating this fantastic resource for public enjoyment. Congratulations once again. And many, many more.
Thank you, and thank you again. That's phenomenal news.
Thank you, Secretary Ferretti. And as the Secretary did tell us, that it sounds like Lackawanna County is in line for some grants in the near future to help us out. And grants like that happen because of leadership. And you can't ask for three finer gentlemen that lead our county here in Lackawanna County than Commissioners Jim Wanzak, Commissioner Corey O'Brien, and Commissioner Pat O'Malley. We have two of our commissioners with us here. I'd like to bring both of them up to say a few words and to also thank them for all that they do on behalf of the county in helping our community become so successful. Commissioners.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. I think there's one or two Steamtown Marathoners in the audience here today, actually, besides myself. For those that are Steamtown Marathoners, this area right here, going into the trail, is mile 15. And some of my most memorable of my 18 of them, because I completed all 18 Steamtown Marathons, is in this area here where I'm not feeling that well. And not whatsoever. But these trails are incredibly huge for the people of Lackawanna County. This is about exercise. This is about enjoyment. This is about revitalizing areas that were destroyed and taken away because of the mines. And like I said, now they are salvaged and they're put back into the order that they needed to be put into. The beautiful rivers, the brown trout, the smell of the river. There is no smell. The river is beautiful and it is fishable. And our trails are incredible. And I'd just like to thank everyone that's here today because it's about partnerships. Natalie and Bob and everyone that's here. I mean, this is a community effort. And I just like to applaud everybody in our community for being involved. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you.
First off, I'd like to thank Madam Secretary for coming today. For those of you who do not know the Madam Secretary, the new head of DCNR, she is a Dallas native, so she has roots here in northeastern Pennsylvania, and we thank you so much for coming, especially delivering that great news of $700,000 for our area, so thank you so much. Also, we're excited to see what else Lackawanna County has coming, which we don't know yet, so got me a little bit excited about that as well. But really, this is as so many people mentioned before, projects like this don't happen without the involvement of the state, of local governments, of organizations such as the local development district that we have with NEPA. Everybody putting in their time helps make this project happen. And not only now, it's not only up to those groups, but it's up to the community itself. They have to have pride in what comes through their areas and making sure that they help maintain it, that they help watch out for it. And as long as that happens, we're going to have a beautiful section of trail, not only from Oliphant that connects into Jermyn, but coming from the border of Luzerne and Lackawanna County all the way up to Vestal, New York. For those, I know some people here, when I look around the audience, they were here with us about a month ago when they opened up a trail connecting up into Simpson, up into Forest City, and such a beautiful scenic section. And that's where you can be able to take a snowmobile, because the partnership there is working with a snowmobile group of about 1,000 people that help maintain it and make sure to take a snowmobile all the way up to Vestal, New York. Is very cool. And now to be able to have a connection here, to be able to get to there, is amazing. And I can tell you, there's a lot of work that is done from so many people. About what, Natalie, 2 weeks ago, we had the opportunity of going out on some ATVs and really kind of exploring the down part of the down valley, trying to look at ways to connect from Taylor down into Music to get down into the Luzerne County border. And there's some great opportunity there as well. But it takes time. It takes planning. And none of it happens without funding. And so, Madam Secretary, thank you so much, because we can't make it happen without the funding. I'd like to thank our state rep, Frank Farina, who's here, and Senator Blake's office, Larry West, who's here with them too, for their help in pushing the funding coming through. So really thank Jeff Box from NEPA for their help, who secured about, I believe it's about $300,000.
And the byways grant that we got through DCED, the Federal Byways Program.
And through DCED, and I know even PennDOT has funding requests that Natalie hits every agency up for funding. I mean, you got to know that. So it really is. She does a great job of making sure it all comes together and bringing everybody in the place. So I just want to congratulate. Especially with Archbald-Jermyn and everybody working with this to make this happen, because this is a perfect thing. Unlike Commissioner O'Malley, I can't run a marathon, so I will never see the 15-mile option here. I'll stand there and cheer him on, but
it's not
I
a
know.
good situation.
He's doing it just for pride now. He wants to be the last one to do every one of them.
Hanging on.
So it's doing well. But thank you again so much.
Thank you again, commissioners. As I've said earlier, I think they deserve an extra round of applause, our county commissioners, because they do so much in advocating for this county and making Lackawanna County a wonderful county to live in. So thank you, commissioners. And also, as Commissioner Wanzak stated, I said earlier, Natalie, you're great out there advocating for us, but let's be real, you are hitting them up and getting everything here for us, so thank you.
She's good.
Again, as I said earlier, our partnerships happen because of different forms of government that work together to make communities wonderful, beautiful, successful, and things like that. So, what more can be said other than we have a senator right in our area, Senator Bob Casey, right in downtown Scranton he lives. He's a native of our area. It's wonderful to have him representing us in Washington. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce Kristen Magnotta from his office. Kristen, if you'd come up, please, to say a few words on behalf of the Senator.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. On behalf of the Senator, Senator Bob Casey, I just wanted to say that this is wonderful. Being a Northeastern Pennsylvania resident myself, I'd love to see projects like this take shape and take form and create opportunities for the people that live here. And by opportunities, I mean not only the jobs that it took to be able to make this happen, but as well as that, also providing opportunities for families to come, people to exercise, and all the other opportunities that come along with that. This is beautiful. It certainly takes a lot of hands in the pot to make opportunities like this happen, and enough can't be said for everyone that takes the time to do this. So I wanted to say congratulations to everyone, and again, thank you for inviting me, and congratulations again. Thank you.
And again, thank you to Senator Casey, but also his counterpart, Congressman Cartwright. Congressman Cartwright is a freshman congressman, and being a freshman doesn't mean you can't accomplish a lot of things. I know the congressman has been working hard in trying to make our area out there in the community, out there in a federal government level, and bringing back projects, bringing back support to our area. So with that being said, on behalf of Congressman Cartwright, I'd like to introduce Frank Pazzagallia and to say a few words on behalf of the congressman.
Thank you. On behalf of the congressman, again, everybody's congratulating, and rightfully so. I'm a big fan of the trails because I'm an avid user. Commissioner O'Malley does one marathon. I'm doing 4 or 5 walks a week. Not marathons, but walks. From Bridge Street there in Peckville up here to Laurel Street. My wife and I love to walk the trails 4 or 5 days a week. Occasionally, he mentioned wildlife. We meet a friendly black bear once in a while on the trail early in the morning. But they go back in the woods and allow us to do our walk. But again, congratulations to everyone. It's a great, great project. I started out as an old physical education teacher. It provides a great opportunity to walkers, joggers, people that bike, and of course the aesthetic value is immeasurable. So again, congratulations, and thank you for having me.
Thank you again to Congressman Cartwright. His counterpart, Congressman Marino, is also an advocate of ours and the things that we have accomplished through LHVA. With that being said, I'd like to bring up from Congressman Marino's office, Tony Herzog. Mr. Herzog.
Thank you very much. They often say that planning and preparation come together to and actually end up with the results of success. And when we see this trail, all we can think of is the success of all these partnerships and all the cooperation that's taken place here. I'd like to commend the committee for the timing of the releasing of those ducks too. I don't know if anybody saw it, but it was like they were let out of a cage or something. I had to see a dozen of them go by. But this is what you can get when people work together. On behalf of Congressman Tom Marino, we just like to say it's just wonderful to see this type of community activity taking place. This will be a venue that can be used for years and years, and many, many people will be pleased 25, 35, maybe even 50 years from now that this group and this organization took the time, and the state and all the layers of government spent the money to see that this was saved for future generations. So on behalf of Congressman Tom Marino, we'd like to say congratulations and best wishes.
Thank you again to Congressman Marino for your continued support. Moving along, we look at, on the federal level, we also have the support on the state level. I think nobody speaks better than Senator John Blake for all that he has done in also his first term. Senator Blake has constantly been out there advocating for our area down in Harrisburg, even when he was just elected. Immediately following that, I've seen him everywhere out there working hard for his community. With that said, I'd like to bring up Larry West, who will represent Senator Blake. And Larry, from what I understand, you're a native of Archbald, so welcoming home.
Thank you, Bob, and Natalie, congratulations. And for the record, I cleaned out my voicemail, so now this project is complete. Feel free to give me a call. And everybody else that's sitting up here. I know, I'm sure we will. But thank you very much for the invite. On behalf of Senator Blake, congratulations. Senator Blake is from Archbald, as am I. As a matter of fact, I just told a story. I grew up right up here on Laurel Street, and this was my stomping grounds right through here.
Do you have
lot
more
of-
stories for us?
No, I do, Bob, but I can't talk. There's too many cameras and people around. But no, really had a really enjoyable childhood here.
You're using the new part already, right?
I use the new part. That's right. I walk my dogs. Natalie, she coerces me once in a while to get out and do some PR for her. So, but I do. I enjoy. I have 2 dogs, labs that I've walked every piece of the trail. By the way, Natalie, now every single piece I've walked with my labs. They love it. I do too. But that being said, I did. I grew up down here. It's amazing to look at the transformation of this trail. Old rail beds, wasteland, areas that have had some issues with trying to get some industry back in. Just it's amazing what you've done. And then from Senator Blake, on behalf of him and his staff, and even myself, I truly appreciate what you do. I know you're a hard worker, and I appreciate that. I really do. So congratulations, and thank you very much, and enjoy the trail.
Thank you, Larry, and of course, thank you to Senator Blake for all that you do in supporting us and your communities here that you represent. We also have on the state representative level, we went from our state senator to our state representative level, we have Representative Frank Farina. Mr. Farina?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, especially because I was born and raised here in Archibald. So it brings back a lot of memories, and I want to touch on something that Natalie mentioned, and it's the past, present, and future. And I think that's very important for what's involved here today. One is because, like a lot of you mentioned, we have a lot of memories here, a lot of good memories. And now we're in the present, and we have the opportunity to pass this along to our children, and that's the future. And I also think passing that on, we couldn't have better timing than right now, right before the holidays, to pass this on, because at this time, home is where your heart is. And we have a lot of family coming home for the holidays. And we want to show them the improvements and how we're moving this area forward. And we want to bring a lot of them back home. And we want to keep them here. And I know that was my reason for running for office, is we have too many people, too many family members leaving our area for opportunity elsewhere. Let's keep that opportunity right here. Beautiful resources, a beautiful place to be born and raised. That's why I chose to raise my children here. Let's keep it moving forward in the right direction. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you to Representative Farina, and of course to all of our other state reps who work for us so hard in Harrisburg, and of course again to Senator Blake for what he does for us. Finally, we'd like to bring up, representing the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, Mr. James May.
Commissioner Wanzak, you said earlier that Natalie likes to hit up everybody and every organization for money. I don't know how true that is, but I know that 2 nights ago she showed up at my door selling candy bars for this project, so I'm sure that she's glad to get this extra funding now. She doesn't have to do that anymore. Let me just say on behalf of the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, it has been a real pleasure once again working with LHVA, working with our commissioners, the state reps, the state senators, and the federal level as well to make this type of project happen. It doesn't happen without the support of a whole bunch of people coming together, and we see that whenever we come to a project like this, we see all these different organizations actually working together and government doing good things. So it's been a real pleasure to see this happen. Real quickly, I spent about 7 years in the military, and every few years Uncle Sam comes along and says it's time to move to somewhere else. And whenever they do that, you go into an organization, you go into a new place, and you know what base you're going to be working at, but you have some options as to where you live. And whenever that happens, you start looking obviously at the school districts that are in the area, what housing is available, what churches are in the area, but you also start looking at some of the other issues like quality of life issues. That's what this trail is about. And one of the things that I like about this trail is that you're connecting the very rural area here of being out in the woods and seeing the bears and the walk along the river here. But as we were walking in, April from PennDOT said, "Do you see the trail right here?" And I looked over and I said, "I don't see the trail." She said, "It's the sidewalk going right through the middle of town." The nice thing about this trail is that it connects the rural with the urban, and it takes you into some of the small towns here in Pennsylvania. And that's one of the great things about this, that you can be in town or you can be down here with the bears. And so it's a really beautiful trail. And just on behalf of PennDOT, let me just say thank you for the opportunity to once again partner with you to make this happen. Thanks so much.
As we've said, we've had all kind of support from our local government, state government, federal government, but we also have business support through the years in doing these kind of projects and developing the trail. I'd like to acknowledge Scott Lindy out in the audience. Mr. Lindy, you've been very helpful in supporting the trail as well. Also like to thank as we're discussing, this is the trail linking Jermyn and Archbald, so Mayor Shirley Barrett, I believe you're out in the audience. And also Mayor Bruce Smallacombe from Jermyn. I don't believe Mr. Smallacombe is here, but also congratulations to both mayors on the development of this trail. Also like to say hello to Fran Pantuso. Fran from the Lackawanna County Community Relations Department, something new that was started by our county commissioners to keep us in the county and the community informed as to what goes on. But Fran, thank you for all that you do as well. With that being said then, we'd just like to thank everyone for coming out today. It's a nice day in Lackawanna County to be able to do this again, to open up another section of trail. I'd like to bring up Natalie Gelb, our director, again for a few closing remarks, and then we're going to move on to the ribbon cutting.
It's always a risk when you work with so many people that you're going to leave somebody out. And I want to make sure that you understand that this particular part of the trail was a really interesting patching together of funding sources. DCNR funded the design of this trail, and they've funded probably every inch of the trail in one way or another. We had the federal byways grant through the Pennsylvania Byways program. Jackie Coombs-Fellion is in charge of that program, and we're very grateful to them. They gave us an opportunity to get $800 and some thousand from the federal byways program, because we established that this trail provides the amenities for the KC Byway, which is a wonderful byway, and it's scenic and it gets people from one place to another, but in order to connect to the community and the amenities, this trail does it, and that was well established when they gave us that grant. We also got a grant through NEPA Alliance, and Jeff Box is here from the NEPA Alliance over there. Jeff, thank you very much. This was a pretty creative part. We sat with Tom Pellegrino from Jeff's staff and said, isn't there any money in the ARC, because this particular geographical area is qualified to get money through the Appalachian Regional Commission. And they said, well, the money's pretty much gone this year, but they have a roads program, and we're sharing the road with the lower, I always get this wrong, the lower Lackawanna River Sewer Basin Authority. And they are going to be servicing the new industrial park up here, and it represents 5,000 jobs. So we were also able to make the case to the Appalachian Regional Commission through Tom Pellegrino that the road could also be a trail, and that there was a way to share the road with the trail. So we got $300,000 from them, and then last but not least, as James May said, from PennDOT and their PCTI program. So this has just been a great and creative partnership. My staff, who works so hard on these grants, really does the details. I just bother everybody, that's all. I just make them crazy. But there are a couple of other people here that I just wanted to acknowledge. From the governor's office, we have Harry Dowling and Bill Goldsworthy from Governor Corbett's office, right here. And Bob acknowledged Shirley Barrett, the mayor, but Jack Giordano has been a tremendous help to us. And Jack, where are you? He's the borough manager, and we've had wonderful partners in the municipalities along the way. So thank you very much. I do like to have the last word, and have a great day.
So, we off to our ribbon cutting now? Okay.
I don't even know where the ribbon
I'm actually the secretary. Should probably. That's who gave me my last hair. Lots of
Ready?
Hey!
All right.
This is really exciting because this is like the
third trail opening. We've been talking for years about putting these trails together, and now they're all finally coming to fruition. Can you tell us about that?
There's a tremendous momentum, Tom. And as you know, in the beginning of the summer, we opened the trail, what we call the CNJ extension, and that was 2 miles from Elm Street in Scranton to Depot Street in Taylor. And then just about a month ago, we opened 3 bridges in the northern part of the trail that connects our trail with the D&H trail to the north. And today, this Mid-Valley Trail, the extension of this Mid-Valley Trail to the Powder Mill line in Archbald, we've invested $5.4 million in the trail just this year in 2013, which just speaks of the economic development aspects of it. The health and wellness, the recreational part, the cultural part, the art on the trail in Southside, the Indian and the Native American heritage. It's just been an amazing year, and I think that for some reason that's been a catalyst for everybody to be aware of the trail. Finally, we've been working so hard to have people know there is a trail and where it is and how wonderful it is, and somehow it's just caught on fire now. So the momentum is strong. I think our funders realize that, and they're being generous. We just learned about a great grant we got today, $773,000 from DCNR, which we did not know was going to be announced today. And last week we got a grant also through the Marcellus Shale program of DCED. So I think our funders realize it. This trail is very significant for this area, eventually be a 70-mile trail system. And it's important, and it makes us the equivalent of the greatest cities in the country.
You know, you're executive director of this organization, and this has always been a dream of yours to make this a reality. So it now has come from a dream to reality. How does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel great, but I still feel like we have a long way to go. We have some more miles to connect, but of course it's so satisfying to me. I just love it, and it's really nice for me when I'm on the trail myself and people say, "Isn't this terrific?" whether they know me or not. And it really validates all the hard work of the staff and all the partners that we have in this effort, but it makes me feel really good.